Struggling to connect Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or secure your emails? From mobile hotspots to VPNs and email encryption, mastering mobile connectivity is a must-have skill. Want to take full control of your device's connectivity? In this video, you'll learn how to enable Wi-Fi, set up VPNs, connect Bluetooth devices, and secure your emails like a pro. Ready to become an IT support expert? Stick around, it all starts now. Mobile devices need to be connected to a network to be able to enjoy most of the features that people expect from them. For example, to use email, which is one of the most used functions, well, the device must be properly configured. Wireless cellular data network. Enable, disable. To connect a mobile phone to the internet, there are two types of networks that can be used: the mobile network and the Wi-Fi network. For many years, cell phone network performance was inferior to that of a Wi-Fi connection. But since the arrival of 4G and especially 5G, the performance of cellular networks could become much more competitive. To turn automatic cellular network connection on or off, you can do so through your phone's settings menu. Generally, you go to Settings, then to Network and Internet, to activate or deactivate the network, or directly on the top shortcut banner of your smartphone. The way a Wi-Fi connection works is very similar to that of a laptop. In the image, we can see the list of Wi-Fi networks that are nearby. Hotspots are public access points to a wireless network, usually connected to the internet. In principle, they are configured with little or no security in order to make it as easy as possible for users to log in. Merchants also provide a device that allows a single device to act as an internet access point for other devices located nearby. This type of device is also called mobile hotspots. You can even find this feature directly in your phone's menus. Tethering mode is when you share one device's internet connection with another. This is very useful if you have an internet outage at home or if you are on the move. Airplane mode. Airlines do not allow wireless connections to be enabled on mobile devices during takeoff and landing, which is why airplane mode exists on most of our mobile phones. This mode allows you to disable only the wireless functions of the mobile. That is to say, you keep access to games and applications that do not require access to the internet. Now, let's talk about Bluetooth, which is also wireless connectivity, but short-range. We use Bluetooth to connect our phones to equipment such as speakers, headphones, connected watch, etc. Before these devices can communicate with each other, they must be configured. So let's see the process to set up a Bluetooth connection. Enable Bluetooth. To start with, you need to activate Bluetooth by going to the settings of his phone, then in Connected Devices, then Connection Preference, and Bluetooth. To be able to turn Bluetooth on or off, Device Search. You will then have to do a search for the peripherals. In the Connected Devices menu, you will have to click on Link a Device to start this search for a new device nearby. On a PC, all you have to do is write Bluetooth in the search bar to access the settings. Enable Pairing. Once you've found your device in the search list, you'll need to enable pairing by clicking on the device you want to connect. When a mobile device is connected with an external device, such as a wireless speaker or headset, well, the two devices can communicate with each other. If you need a password to pair your wireless device, the ideal is to consult its documentation or try as a password 0 or 1234. These are the most common codes. Once all the previous steps have been completed, You can then test the communication between the two devices. If it's audio equipment, then you can play music and see if the sound comes out well in the wireless headphones or the external speaker. One of the most important functions that people use on their mobile devices is email. We will see how to set up email on a smartphone, as there are different ways to do it, depending on the equipment you use, from your email service provider, and the customer application. So, it's a good idea to check your device's documentation. Before you can access email on your mobile device, you must first understand the various settings on your email provider's server. POP3 and IMAP, the two internet protocols in question, which allow your email program to access the email accounts in your web space, are POP3 and IMAP. The difference between the two is that IMAP allows multiple clients to access the same web server while keeping email on the server, while POP3 will download the emails and delete them from the web server. The emails will therefore no longer be available to another customer. For this reason, it is advisable to choose IMAP when configuring access to the mail server. Today, setting up an email account on an email app is usually done automatically. For example, if I want Microsoft's Outlook application, which is an email client, to be able to access my Gmail mail server, I would just need to specify the login credentials with password. Here's what Outlook automatically fills in for configuration. Now, let's say I'm using the Gmail web server directly, and I want to attach another email account to it. For example, the one of my Formip business address, which is located on the OVH servers. Well, by going to the Gmail settings, then to the Accounts and Import tab, here is what I have configured. Each email provider will have its own server name, port, and TLS SSL settings. If your mail server supports it, you can and should use SSL or TLS security. This encrypts all the data that travels between the mail server and the client. It is important to know that SSL, Secure Sockets Layer, is the predecessor of TLS, Transport Layer Security. So even if TLS has replaced the SSL protocol, the term SSL is still widely used in security. SMIME, Secures Multipurpose Internet Mail Extensions. Another cryptography standard is SMIME. So no, he's not a street artist. SMIME encrypts your emails using asymmetric cryptography to protect your emails from unauthorized access. Basically, this protocol digitally signs all of your emails, which makes it possible to certify that you are the legitimate sender of the messages. SMIME is therefore a formidable weapon against the many phishing attacks. Phishing is one of the main vectors of cybercrime. This form of internet scam consists of obtaining from the recipient of the email his bank details or his bank's login details in order to steal money. In fact, the fraudster is posing as an organization you know well, such as your bank, the CAF in France, the tax department, using the logo and name of that organization. The malicious person therefore sends you an email asking you to update your contact details, following a technical problem, for example. Of course, when you receive this kind of email, often full of spelling mistakes, well, you should not click on it or download attachments. How are emails encrypted? That's all well and good, but how are emails encrypted with SMIME? Well, we have seen that this technology is based on asymmetric cryptography. That is, it works with a pair of keys. We have a public key and a private key. Technically, it is impossible to know the private key from the public key. The public key is shared with all the contacts in his email box, and the private key is only known to the recipient. The emails will be encrypted with the recipient's public key and can only be decrypted using the private key, which only the recipient knows. This means that with this process, it ensures that only the real recipient will be able to access the content of the sensitive email. And this key exchange is done with the help of certificates, which must be obtained from your email provider. It's like an agreement you have between the sender of the email and its recipient, a unique style of contract, which only these two parties know. Email provider. There are several email providers, allowing you to get an email address and manage your inbox. So, let's take a look at the main messaging platforms. Gmail. Google's messaging service is currently the most popular. The main advantage of Gmail is that its design is minimalist and has a very clean style. Another advantage, which puts it above its competitors, is that it has many filtering options. This gives the possibility to see emails in different ways, depending on our own needs. In addition, it is very easy to use and does not contain ads, not like the next messaging service we are going to see. Yahoo! As you may have guessed, it's Yahoo! So even if there are many ads, we can remove them by paying an annual subscription. The main advantage of Yahoo! Is that it has the largest storage capacity of any free email platform. This may be of interest to people who have many emails with rather heavy attachments. Outlook. The next one we're going to see is Microsoft's Outlook. For many years, Outlook largely dominated the market with its Hotmail addresses. It appeals to many people because its design is very familiar, since it is close to the Office suite. That is to say, Word, Excel, etc. Outlook is a very strict email service that blocks many scam and fraud attempts. And the last advantage is that in addition to email, it also has a to-do list and a calendar, iCloud Mail. And the last one we're going to see is the giant Apple with its iCloud Mail email service. When you buy an Apple-branded device, you automatically have an iCloud account, which includes the free email service. In addition, with an impeccable graphic design, iCloud Mail is one of the easiest services to use. Of course, this is the messaging platform to adopt if you use the services and devices of the iOS ecosystem. PRI/PRL updates. We will now quickly talk about the PRI and PRL updates. The PRI, for Product Release Instructions, is a document or web page which gives the entire process of a software update. This allows you to see the new features, as well as the ones that will be modified. This is very useful information to analyze before launching any type of update, whether on your computer or smartphone. And the PRL, for Preferred Roaming List, is a file stored in any cellular device that contains the preferences of the telephone operator. For example, the connection frequencies, radio firmware. Now let's talk about the radio firmware, which allows you to control all the parameters of the cellular or Wi-Fi signal. If you're having trouble connecting with your device, well, a firmware update could be the solution. So you have to be very careful during the update that the device does not have a battery problem or power cut. You have to take the same precautions as when you flash the BIOS of a computer, because otherwise it could seriously damage the equipment. IMEI versus IMSI. Let's move on to the international identification of mobile equipment. Every mobile device, such as phones and tablets, must have a unique IMEI identifier on this planet. This is called the IME, International Mobile Equipment Identifier Code. This number is assigned directly by the equipment manufacturer and relates to the device itself. And the IMSI, International Mobile Subscriber Identifier Code, is the international identifier of the mobile subscriber. It's the same principle as the IMEI, except that it's a number that is not stored on the device, but rather on the SIM card. The IMSI is assigned to the user or cellular subscriber by the service provider. You just have to remember that the IMEI is the phone and the EMSI is you, because the SIM card is, in general, in your name. And the last point we're going to look at for this lesson is VPN, Virtual Private Network. VPN, Virtual Private Network, is a virtual private network, which is very often used to create secure tunnels between your home network and your company's network. This is what we call the famous teleworking, which has become so popular in recent times. VPN also allows you to create a secure tunnel, which will modify your IP address to make you anonymous when you surf the internet. You can also, for example, surf the internet with a different location than your country. This gives the advantage of bypassing certain censorship of a country, or of accessing streaming sites, which are restricted depending on the country.